While the recognition of Somaliland by the United States may seem like an endorsement of stability, it carries profound consequences for Africa's unity. Today, we're discussing a topic that could send shockwaves through African unity and international diplomacy. After his upcoming inauguration, former President Donald Trump may take the unprecedented step of recognizing Somaliland as an independent state. While this may sound like a victory for Somaliland, it poses a serious threat to the unity of Africa and undermines the hard-fought efforts of African nations to maintain their sovereignty and territorial integrity. In this video, I'll explain why this move is concerning for Africa and what it means for the future of the continent. To understand the gravity of this situation, we first need to understand what Somaliland represents. Somaliland is a region in the Horn of Africa that declared independence from Somalia in 1991, following the collapse of the Somali government and a devastating civil war. Since then, it has run its own government, military, and institutions, but it has never been recognized by the international community. In Africa, the principle of territorial integrity and the respect for borders is deeply ingrained. The Organization of African Unity, OAU, which later became the African Union, AU, has been committed to preventing the fragmentation of African states. While Somaliland's claim to independence is rooted in the region's desire for self-determination, recognizing it as a separate state would open the door to further disintegration across the continent, creating dangerous precedents for other separatist movements. Let's explore why Trump might consider recognizing Somaliland and why this would be a serious concern for the unity of Africa. The Trump administration has shown a preference for bold moves in foreign diplomacy, often making decisions that defy traditional political norms. His approach to foreign policy has been one of pragmatism, often prioritizing short-term stability and strategic interests over long-standing diplomatic principles. In the case of Somaliland, Trump might view recognition as a way to promote a partner that he perceives as more stable than Somalia, which has struggled with ongoing conflicts and the presence of extremist groups. On the surface, recognizing Somaliland might seem like an endorsement of a region that has maintained relative peace compared to Somalia. This could lead to the fragmentation of Somalia and, by extension, create instability in the Horn of Africa, a region already grappling with severe challenges, including poverty, terrorism, and climate change. For Africa, the recognition of Somaliland by the United States could signal a wider abandonment of the principle of African unity. It would send a message that external forces have the power to dictate the internal matters of African nations, undermining the agency of African states. This would set back the decades of work done by the African Union and other regional bodies to ensure that Africa remains united in the face of external interference. It's also important to consider the economic and political ramifications. A fragmented Somalia could weaken Africa's position on the global stage, affecting trade, security, and diplomatic ties. More importantly, African countries would be left to deal with the fallout of recognition, potentially facing growing separatist pressures from other regions. Recognizing Somaliland risks fueling the flames of division in a continent that has already suffered enough from colonial boundaries that were drawn without regard for ethnic, cultural, and historical realities. In conclusion, the decision to recognize Somaliland threatens the territorial integrity of Somalia and could set a dangerous precedent for separatism across the continent. As Africans, we must remain committed to the ideals of unity and sovereignty that are enshrined in the African Union's founding principles. For Africa to rise, we must focus on collaboration, mutual respect, and peaceful resolution of disputes, rather than allowing external forces to divide us. The recognition of Somaliland is a move that could destabilize the Horn of Africa and set the continent back in its efforts to achieve lasting peace and prosperity. Thank you for watching. If you believe in the importance of African unity, please like, share, and subscribe.